Here we go. Here we go. New year, new thing, huh? Welcome everybody to the Sunset Wrestling Podcast, on for all wrestling, everything wrestling. What's up, Soto?
What is up? Yeah,
Yeah,
new year, new us.
yeah, what? I like this. Okay, so in case y'all have noticed it now, you got a new theme, new template up. We have now left StreamYard. We want to thank StreamYard for everything we've accomplished so far in the past, what, 2 years, year and a half?
Um, yeah, like 2, 3 years now,
Yeah,
right?
we're on for a while, but out with the old and with the new, we have now progressed into something new. We want to give a shout out to Streamlabs Ultra. We are now on with them. Shout out to Streamlabs OBS Live. We have now transcended to something new and dope. And hopefully this relationship will be good and healthy as it was with our time before with StreamYard.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, we're always trying to better ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So
I agree 100%.
this is nice change, right? This is a nice change.
Yes, wholeheartedly. But
Word.
we've had a busy couple of days. I know both we have, internally and externally as well. Uh, it is time to move on and get this thing started, shall we?
Yeah,
Let's get right into it. We got a
so
busy
let's
weekend of wrestling.
so let's start with obviously we usually start with WWE, but let's start with AEW. And one of the news that came out from AEW is that, again, for like the thousandth time, Malakai Black is expected to leave AEW.
Is this for real, or is this just like, are you pushing your Malachi Black agenda?
It's a little bit of both.
All right, so
Yeah,
I'll let you
it's
take the wheel. Go ahead.
it's honestly a little bit of both. To be completely honest with you, I'm not surprised. The way they handled Malakai Black was criminal. And by they I mean Tony Khan, right? I just, they never like truly gave him an opportunity. In terms of like singles run, you kind of fumbled the bag there, and with House of Black, with which had so much potential, you also fumbled that. And it kind of seems more likely that this will happen now, especially what's happening with AEW within the last I guess week, you would say. You had Will Ospreay right after his match with Buddy Matthews. He kind of gave Buddy Matthews his flowers, right?
Mhm.
Basically, stating that you know uh, you don't have to what's it called? Um, you don't need a leader to succeed in AEW. And then ever since he said that, a lot of people speculated, wait, so what about Malakai Black? Because Malakai Black is the leader of the House of Black. So wait, what does this mean? So it started on from there, right? From Dynamite with all this speculations. And then on Collision, they kind of doubled down on it when, Edge or Cope or Copeland, whatever you want to call him, basically told Brody King that he is the one who should run the House of Black. In other words, so you put those two together, and it kind of seems like, yeah, this whole Malachi Black rumored AEW departure is actually true.
Mhm. So
And
you think everything? So you think everything now gives you more valid reason? They're like, hey, like, is this the real thing now?
yeah, I honestly do think this is the real thing. And it kind of seems like, all right, it's either they're going their separate ways. Maybe uh Buddy Matthew focuses on his singles run, or Brody King kind of like rebuilds the House of Black. But that it seems like that's the route they're going, because we've heard this rumor about Malachi Black leaving AEW numerous times, right? And then next thing you know, he makes a sudden appearance, and then he does a feud with somebody, and then he leaves again. So this is all too familiar. But again, there's also rumors that his contract with AEW is ending either in February or March. A lot of people think it's in February, kind of setting up a potential return to WWE at the Royal Rumble.
Mm. I don't know. You're sitting here. See, I pick up what you're putting down,
I'm cheesing.
and then I just like I see a little smile, just like twitching. Like, yeah, my boy is back.
I mean, listen, I've been again a Malachi Black fan ever since ever since I've seen him in NXT, right, the Black and Gold era, right. Just everything about him, his in ring ability, his aura, and his character. And I just thought, when WWE released him, right? I was like, damn, like if AEW picks him up, that's a really good get. But even AEW fumbled him, right? And now with Triple H back in charge, fully in charge of creative in WWE, it's like, damn, if you pair Triple H again with Malachi Black or Aleister Black, whatever, um, that's that's a huge win.
That's where it once was.
Yeah.
Okay,
Exactly.
okay.
So, and I don't think if he comes back, or you know what, I'll double down. I'll say when he comes back to WWE, I don't think it's going to be like an NXT run. I think it's going to be a main roster run, kind of like very similar to what they're doing with Penta, right? We know he's about to debut, most likely tomorrow on Monday Night Raw, right? So we'll probably see something along the lines of like maybe like similar vignettes setting up Malachi Black's return, or if you want to do a surprise return right then and there, if his contract is indeed up in February, have him appear at the Rumble.
That's not a bad idea. Because
Yeah,
if he's gone, and that like waiver period is whatever, then it's like, all right, cool, you're good to go. You know how it
yeah,
always says, oh, no compete clause for 30 days, 90 days, yada yada yada. There's always some like bylaw within the bylaws for whatever.
right, right.
So
So, so I
okay,
mean,
okay.
listen,
I know
it's
you want to
unfortunate.
start with this because this was more about for Malachi Black and the fact that you finally get some justice for
Yeah, no,
the
absolutely.
poor
Like,
credit that was given.
listen, I love the whole idea of the faction, the House of Black faction. I loved it, but they didn't really like Tony didn't do anything with it. Then you try to do Kings of the Black Throne with him and Brody King, and obviously that was nice and all, but I truly wanted to see like a dominant singles run for Malachi Black, but I guess that wasn't in store for Tony Khan's plans.
Right. Hopefully now he can right the wrongs because there's been a lot of slander on his name, and rightfully so because we don't know what behind closed doors is, which we're not getting now. But he was one of the more underwhelming wrestlers on AEW. So
Yeah,
now with this past release, he can finally get his due diligence and his justice, and now go and be what he wants to be.
yeah.
So
So who knows? Listen, who knows? Maybe if you want Malachi Black to lead a faction in WWE, that's always a possibility. But you know, I think he's more well better off as a loner, right? So if he does end up with WWE, I'm really excited with what Triple H does.
right. All right, good.
Continuing on the AEW trend, we have Darby Allin, who will be taking a hiatus. So, for those who don't know, previously, Darby Allin had plans to climb Mount Everest, but he suffered several injuries, right? And which prevented him. So now he's on a hiatus to begin training for that climb. So um, it makes sense why we saw on the final episode of Rampage the Death Riders kind of like beat down Darby and they threw him down a flight of steps.
Yeah.
So
Sounds poetic, right?
right. Yeah, so that was done to kind of like write him off. I don't know how long it is, but shout out to Darby for actually like sticking with this agenda of climbing Mount Everest, because that is kind of very dangerous, and Again, the fact that he's taking time away from in-ring competition to fulfill this goal or achievement that he has in mind. Credit to him.
It's. I think it's admirable. I think it's also a sign but I also think it's also gonna be a sign where he's gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna take this time off to do what I want to do, and that may lead to, you know what? I'm happy with that AEW. I'm leaving, and he could be out the door. Could be another one that'll be out the door himself. I'm gonna
Yeah.
jump on the trend of people leaving, people coming and going. I think this would be this could be an early sign of him doing his own personal stuff, and all of a sudden it's, well, I'm out this. I don't need AEW. I've had my fun. This could be from as well. With the trend AEW is going with now, where they're going now, you never know.
I mean, I think Darby's one that they'll really, really never let go, and I think Darby has a lot to be like, has a lot to owe to AEW. So I don't think I think AEW is just giving him his time to do whatever he wants to do. I think he's earned it personally. But yeah, no, listen. Again, this is I guess an achievement for him that he wants to complete, and shout out to him for sticking with it.
100%. Mount Everest is no joke. That's like what, under 100 people is up there, or something, under 1,000 people have made it to the top, or something like that.
Yeah, just about. Yeah.
Look at this up. Would you climb Mount Everest?
Hell no. I'll see you at the bottom.
As of December 24th, 7,269 people have reached the summit.
My fat ass is collapsing.
7,120 people.
I'll collapse and turn into like a giant snowball rolling down.
Yeah, so just over 7,000 people have climbed it once.
Yeah, that's crazy. But he wants to be on that list, so shout out to him. Some injury updates, right?
Who got hurt?
No, regarding Eddie Kingston. We haven't seen it. Yeah, we haven't seen
Eddie's been hurt his entire life. I don't really know that.
No, but it's been a while with Eddie. I mean, we haven't seen him since early 2024 or early last year, right? Where he suffered a lot of injuries. He suffered a tibial fracture, a torn ACL, and a torn meniscus. Obviously, you would know something.
Forgot about that. I thought he just fucked his knee up, but yeah, he fucked everything up.
Yeah. So, it was firstly, reported that he may be back by May, right? But he might be back earlier than that. I mean, again, there's already he's already working on his condition and fitness and rehab. So, we should hopefully see Eddie Kingston soon. So, and then to end AEW topic, possible plans for Kenny Omega. So again, obviously Kenny Omega returned, and when he returned, he had a stare down with Okada, but then he also has a feud going with the Don Callis family, according to Dynamite, right?
They've been arguing for years. It feels like,
in which Will Ospreay came for the save as he was beaten down by Fletcher, Archer, and Brian Cage, right? But it's again, according to Dave Meltzer, so take it with a grain of salt, right? The current plan for Omega is to have a one-on-one with Okada at All In Texas. So obviously, which again, it's not a bad idea, figuring their legendary matches in New Japan Pro Wrestling, all of 2017, 2018, right? So if they can have another banger for AEW at All In Texas,
I'm all for it. But
I'm all for it. Yeah,
Okada and Omega is a great match altogether, so I have no problem. I have no problem seeing this happen.
Yeah. So yeah, that seems to be the plan for Omega, which I'm not opposed to. Again, listen, him and Okada have had match. You could say match of the year or match of the year candidates, whichever one you want to put it. So I'm looking forward to that. And of course, it's going to take a while since All in Texas is July 12th, right? So maybe, you can have him and Osprey team up against the Don Callis family for the time being until we get into like maybe like May or June, in which you
Mhm.
can set up Omega versus Okada.
We have
Um,
time. All in's when?
I'm sorry.
All in is when?
June 12th.
Yeah, we have that time.
Yeah.
We're good to go.
So then we have new champions crowned at NXT New Year's Evil. For those who didn't tune in, you had Obafemi become the NXT champion, and you had Julia become the NXT Women's Champion. So shout out to
It
both.
was only a matter of time.
Yep, both of them kind of starting a new uh, era for NXT. And then, shout out to both Roxanne Perez and Trick Williams, especially Roxanne Perez, who's had a dominant championship run. It seems like both Trick and Roxanne might be headed to the main roster. I feel like that's the main.
And yeah, I was gonna ask you, it's not really more so Oba and um Oba and Julia. This is more so about Roxanne and Trick. Where do you see with the Rumble coming up now? Where do you see both of them going?
um,
Okay, are they gonna be permanent call-ups? Are they gonna be
Yeah, no.
more Rumble
They'll be
call-ups?
permanent call ups, or maybe they might just do like one final run, or one final feud to like help somebody, put over. Um, but yeah, I would say Trick Williams definitely main roster bound. I'm thinking about Raw or SmackDown, and what's interesting is it's like with Trick Williams. I'm not saying popularity wise but he has the potential to get there. Trick Williams has the potential to be like a Jay Uso.
Now,
That's
don't know.
yeah, in
Now.
terms of popularity, yeah. So like he could be a huge baby face. He has the potential to be that. So and I I, I think I'm leaning for him to be on SmackDown. I feel like, having him on the same show as Carmelo, you can run that back if you want. With Roxanne Perez, I think, yeah, with Roxanne, yeah, I think Raw suits her. So kind of split them up, like that. But again, yeah, I think both of them are main roster bound. But just for those who don't know, both Julia and Obafemi already have challengers lined up as new contenders. Were crowned at live events that happened recently, right? Um, so after winning a battle royal, Eddie Thorpe will get first crack at Obafemi, and in terms of the women's, Lola Vice uh, will earn a championship opportunity. So the next contenders are Eddie Thorpe and Lola Vice, which again should be interesting. I mean, I think Lola Vice well deserved, but uh, it sucks because both of them are not are not winning the championships.
No,
But
I was gonna jump in and say that I think both go on SmackDown, but for the immediate future, um, Oba and Julia are not losing probably for gotta find my calendar. Maybe a couple of seasons,
I,
couple of seasons on the year. Summer, maybe summer 25. I see Julia losing to Stephanie Vaquera. For Oba, nobody's gonna be Oba for a while.
Yeah, I think
Oba might go until like September, October.
yeah, I think Oba has the potential to have like a year-long reign.
I think because of the depth of NXT's women's division, which is the best the women's division in all of wrestling in the world. I think you should kind of cap the clock on go cap the reign on Julia's run because you have so many more talent to give that title up to have more reigns.
Yeah,
There's no knock to Julia. It's just there's so much depth. You got to utilize all that depth in talent in on
yeah, yeah.
division. But
100%.
for Oba, nobody's touching Oba for a long time.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
think
it is what it is.
to be honest with you, the person that I think that will dethrone Oba is not even on the NXT roster.
No. So somebody's gonna come in.
Yeah, I think if NXT gets their hands if NXT WWE gets their hands at Ricky Starks, I feel like that person I think Ricky Starks could defeat Oba.
When's his contract up?
Uh, that's the thing. It's all been a whole mystery regarding Ricky Starks. Like,
Because
there's been
once his
various
contract is up, it's gonna be like a 90-day no no
yeah,
no,
it's been like various reports of like different things, and it's like, all right, when is his contract really up? So it's like, I mean, only him and AEW know. I mean, so
but either way, yeah. I Julia and Stephanie McMahon is gonna beat Julia probably come June. Oba, whoever beats Oba is gonna be winning in like September. August, September. Labor Day weekend.
yeah,
I call September. Oba loses in September. Julia loses in June. That's how
okay,
long the reign's gonna be.
okay, yeah. I mean, again, I wouldn't be surprised if Julia had like a Oscar dominant run
Yeah.
in a championship run, but then again, it's like you have all these like high quality contenders in Stephanie Vaquer and Zaria.
That's
So
two automatically. Jada Parker's on her way. Nikita's on her way. Like you have a long list of competitors that are now with no Roxanne Perez. I mean, Cora Jade might want to get a shot at some point. Like you have a long list of women wrestlers that are extremely talented that have to get their shots now. They not have to work their way up.
yeah,
Those who you don't know yet, and those who have had some minor bright spots that you know that she's gonna be nice in a couple months, she'll be nice in a couple years, and now you gotta start flowing these guys, these women in, and seeing
right,
what goes on. So it's gonna be a gauntlet from this point forward with the women's division NXT. The gauntlet for the women to win the gold and not just win it but maintain it
right,
is gonna be that's gonna be something worth watching this year.
yeah. We move on to WWE's Netflix debut, which I consider was a huge success,
100%.
but a certain someone was heavily booed.
Who?
The immortal one, man, the immortal Hulk Hogan.
You mean Jimmy Hart?
Jimmy Hart was cheered. Hulk Hogan, they almost booed that man. They booed that man out the building. Like that whole segment was so uncomfortable. But again, it's like I don't know how WWE didn't see this negative reaction coming. Like, even when it was announced that Hulk Hogan was going to make an appearance or rumored to make an appearance, a lot of people were like, "Oh God, no," and whatnot. And again, no. Aside from what Hulk Hogan has done for the wrestling business, right?
We don't care about what Hogan's done for the wrestling community. No one gets Hulk Hogan's Hulk Hogan because of that. I booed him. I don't know if you did. I booed Hulk Hogan.
So, no, for one, I just didn't care for the segment.
Oh, I cared.
I just didn't care for the segment, to be honest with you. But yeah, no, like as he kept talking about his like real American beer, that he's teamed up with or partner with, like yeah, the booze like legit took over that segment.
Let's let's
Um,
get let's get red and blue here. The reason why people booed Hulk Hogan is because he aligned himself politically and pushed that agenda forward. You know why? You realize that Hogan, and I'll try not to put it together. Do you know that Hogan and Undertaker voted for the same person? Why did they boo Taker? Because Taker doesn't push agendas. He goes, "Oh, I like this guy. Pick this guy for this reason. Okay,
yeah,
call them next."
yeah, no, and you
Hogan
know
sits
what?
here and goes on stage with the boys and said, "Oh, gotta give me
Listen,
my vegetables and this."
you brought up a great point. I think the booze wasn't political motivated, in my opinion. I think it's it's one of the things that was a factor, but it's like, all right, you've seen all these throughout the years, all these interviews about Hulk Hogan that he was in it for himself in the business, right? For example, like him talking about Mick Foley's physical appearance, right?
Yeah, I
Um
dog
the,
walk Stone Cold and his films about Bret
no,
Hart and this and the
the
third.
um the claims that when he was first feuding with Undertaker, and he told Undertaker to watch out for his neck, and during that match Undertaker did a tombstone, and Hogan claimed to have injured his neck. You look at the match back, he didn't even land remotely close to his neck.
Now, Taker's one of the
Like
safest
take
wrestlers of all time.
exactly, like yeah, exactly. So, and then you hear all these things that oh, if it's not my way, like if it wasn't Hogan's way, then
Like his
everything.
run in TNA, that he had each other line,
I
try
think
to
it
couple
was
them
like
with the
during
WCW.
during his run in WCW. So I think it's like all of those little things just factor into this whole thing, and all these like controversial either decisions or things he's spoken of. Like it's like it just it just got put together and it was unleashed during the premiere. Um,
He's a dickhead.
yeah,
Like
I don't think it was just only political. So let me just
it's
because you just mentioned a great point. Yeah, him and Taker both voted for the same guy, but of course when Taker came out, you didn't hear a shred of boo. It was
Because
all
Taker just
cheers.
he speaks on what he wants to speak on and moves forward. He doesn't push his agendas. Like Hogan always pushed this me agenda. And listen, I thought Hogan was great as a kid growing up. You know, when he came out as the um as Mr. America and this and everybody knew what it was, but it was just fun. It was cool. TNA,
Yeah,
it was fun. It was cool. And then he leaves TNA. Then he has that sex tape, and then he's on trying to push his agenda with his daughter about being an artist. And then he's talking about, Mick Foley and shit about this, Stone Cold about that, Bret Hart about this, Undertaker about that. Um, he always did. The McMahon doc came out, and then first thing came up, the first 5 minutes was, "I'm in this for me." I told McMahon this is what I want to do. He didn't want to leave. He left for the money, and then became this and became that.
I
There's a
you know
whole breakdown for all that. It's like, yo, you
I,
come off as a dickhead, and then you
I
go on the campaign trail, right? And you start you shoot a promo, you shoot a promo talking about, let me tell you something, brother. You got to vote for this man. This man will save America. Like I try to say, like, what is wrong with you? Like this isn't for fun. Like you had your fun
yeah,
growing up.
it
You
was
can't
just
treat this like a joke. Like
you could tell it was an uncomfortable segment, and you can visibly see him like struggling to deliver a scripted promo.
yeah,
You know, and, and, and whoever and then whoever scripted this promo, right? There was a part in the promo where like Hogan tried to reference like several legends, right? Like Randy Savage and Andre the Giant, but hoping that the crowd would at least cheer for that part. But
no,
no,
you booed
like
him.
the booze just kept going and going and going, and I was just like, "Oh, brother,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
was rough."
And
I
then
was
it
like,
came
"This
out and
was
said that WWE, I think Triple H came out and said that they won't have Hogan on any live events anymore. Good. Nobody wants him around. Nobody likes him. That's the problem. What great has now turned sour, and now it's irreparable. You know why? Because he's an asshole. Hulk Hogan, you're an asshole. You're a piece of shit. Look at the camera. You're a piece of shit. You're a dickhead. No one wants you around. You know, that was probably the only thing that ruined If you could take one takeaway,
You seem very animated about this.
no, I can't stand Hulk Hogan. Like the racial ambiguity, the ratio went down that he's gate kept for a lot of people back in the day, including Ahmed Johnson and several of the wrestlers that were African American and Latino that he gate kept for his own personal game was fucked up. I had the issue with Shawn Michaels with The Rock years ago, but then he came out, so I let that go. Hulk Hogan's never apologized for anything in his life, and that's his fucking problem. No accountability. 60-some-year-old man is a piece of shit. And you know what?
Bro, he's 71.
Serve him right. How old is he?
71.
He's 71. Good. I hope he doesn't make it to 72. That's how I really feel.
Oh my God.
Pack him up. But no, just like there's no accountability.
Are you trying to get it canceled?
We cancel him. Cancel Hogan. For good. No,
Sheesh.
But yeah, no, it's just like we all want accountability. People make mistakes, and it's okay. Like we just apologize, right the wrongs, and move forward. He's never done that.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. It's like, you know,
at some point, I was like, bro, just don't come back.
We're all right. We're not saying this because, again, we have insiders in the wrestling business. We react the way of what we're like seen and presented, like in documentaries and in in interviews, right? So once
we're not saying he said it.
No. I'm saying like for example, our views. Your hatred for Hogan is from what we've learned through documentaries, interviews, and stuff like that. Yeah.
He's not himself. I can't. I feel bad for because of him.
Let me go to the next segment before you rip up your shirt like Hogan. All right. So WWE 2K25 was teased during Raw on Netflix. Again, for those who did not watch that segment, after Roman Reigns defeated Solo Sikoa in a great match, tribal combat match, he was talking to Paul Heyman backstage, and they were talking about a celebration now that he has reclaimed the Ula Fala. And, Roman Reigns told Heyman that he would like to celebrate this victory on January 27th, which is, again, on a Monday night. And who knows?
On Netflix.
Yeah, maybe Roman Reigns, excuse me, is Raw bound. But just before, as they were entering a room, the room had a logo and it said 2K25. So maybe we get something on that day, maybe a tease, maybe, hey, Roman Reigns is the featured athlete on the cover of 2K25. So
I think he is. I think he deserves it.
Yeah. Again, we have no release date for 2K25. I mean, I think a lot of people are still enjoying 2K24, which has been a big improvement on the franchise. But we're definitely we started getting especially on like Twitter, several like screenshots of several superstars in 2K25. So we're definitely getting some sort of announcement. Maybe it's a cover announcement, maybe it's a release announcement. So tune in for that. Again, another thing that happened on Raw on Netflix was John Cena declaring entry for the 2025 Royal Rumble match.
It broke my heart hearing this. I loved it. Like it gave my heart, it brought joy to my face. But then it was just like, what's that Mr. Incredible meme where it's like, if you know, like for those who know and those who don't know, it's like just sadness. Yeah, that was me. I'm like, damn, let's go. You know what I'm saying? John Cena's back.
Let me ask you a question.
He's at the throne for the last time for his career.
John Cena has won the Royal Rumble twice.
Does he do, or is it
can he do it again?
I think he can.
So you like, okay, we think he can.
Yes.
Do you have him winning it?
No.
Okay. And I'm with you on that one. I can
if he was to win, I would not complain whatsoever.
Okay.
And you know what? Get him to the Final Four. I want to hear this. I want to hear I want to see who they got winning, but I want to hear the crowd change when they actually think that Cena's going to win and get bumped out maybe bumped up, maybe nine
I
belted out to the winner.
all right. So I personally think that we might get something similar to what happened with Shawn Michaels, right? When he had this obsession of winning the Royal Rumble in order to get to Taker, because Taker was World Heavyweight Champion at the time, right?
But Michaels didn't get bumped out until like almost halfway through.
No, he
It
didn't
wasn't
get
like
bumped.
a
He was
long run.
no, he was. I think he was part of like the final 4 or 5,
Yeah.
and that's where like a heel Batista eliminated him. But I feel like we're gonna get something along those lines where he's in the final 4, and again the crowd is like getting antsy because they feel like John Cena might win it, only for him to be eliminated by somebody that
Who's gonna
people
win?
truly hate. So I feel like a Logan Paul would be perfect in this situation, where and the massive like negative response that you would hear, right? I think, yeah, I personally listen. I love John Cena. I don't, and his quest to become world champion in his final run.
Does he deserve to be? Does he deserve number 17?
I think he does, but I feel like if you're gonna have somebody break 17, it should be either him or Randy. And I'm leaning a little bit more towards Randy. It kind of makes sense. But yeah, again, I just don't want to see like a repeat winner. That's my thing. It's like, all right,
Well, somebody new at this point.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like we had Austin win twice back to back, but it made sense. Shawn Michaels winning twice back to back made sense, and Cody Rhodes recently, right? Then you had John Cena win. I forgot what year, and then a couple years later he won. Same thing with Randy Orton. Same thing with Edge. Like I don't want to see like a repeat winner. I want to see somebody new get a an opportunity. So that's why like I would love to see like John Cena make it into that final 4, only to be eliminated like by a big time heel, which again Logan Paul fits the bill perfectly. Or somebody else that I'm currently not thinking of, but or Drew McIntyre. You know what I'm saying? Like a big time heel. But no, I don't think John Cena will win the Royal Rumble. If he does, then you know what, so be it. I mean, a match between him and Gunther isn't a bad thing.
Right.
So
that's fair enough.
Yeah.
I would like, I don't know, like it also makes sense. Michael's got 2, Austin's got 3, Cody's got 2, Cena has 2, Orton has 2. Does Brock have 2? Brock's got 1. Look and see.
No, Brock has 2, I think.
Let me see.
Yeah, Batista has 2, John Cena has 2, Randy Orton has 2, Triple H has 2, Edge has 2.
Yeah. Let's go back. Let's see. So
I think Brock Lesnar might have 2. I don't.
So
yeah, he does have 2.
Hogan got 2. Michaels has 2. Austin has 3. Triple H has 2.
I forgot Austin has 3.
Taker 1. Cena has 1, 2, 2.
Okay.
Orton has 1, 2. Lesnar has 2. Edge has 2. The real Sheamus. Batista has 2.
Yeah.
And Rollins has
1.
1.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Cody has 2.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I just have a feeling that we legit might see a repeat winner. Whether it's Rollins, Cena.
If Punk doesn't get his championship from now on until the Rumble, he doesn't get his championship. he win the Rumble?
Yeah, I mean he's I think he's a favorite.
That's my dark horse to win it. I want somebody else to win it, but I think Punk wins it without the Rumble. But if I had to pick make one selection outside of like anybody, I'll
Punk
go
makes
Punk.
sense. I completely forgot about Punk. Punk makes perfect sense to win the Royal Rumble, to be honest with you. And then whether they
Punk knocking out Cena, so you get like the boo that Cena lost, but the cheer that Punk wins.
Yeah,
I think that lined up. There's a whole bunch of you can line up.
and
That would be
that's
final match.
that's gonna be a Royal Rumble moment too. When like sometimes in Royal Rumble matches you have face offs, right?
Think
And
about it.
that's
Okay,
gonna be a
yeah.
face-off.
Think about it. Punk, Orton, Cena,
Seth.
and Seth. All four have integrated into one of the best since what? The 2010s. Some of the best rivalries. Cena Orton is probably a top 5, top 10 rivalry in its own right. As the Cena and Punk. Rollins and Punk is going to be the feud of the year this year, right?
Yeah.
Orton and Rollins have had their back and forth for a while, and Orton and Punk as well. That's a lot. That's a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot.
Yeah.
We move on to new well we'll see who becomes the new contenders. We had Rhea Ripley claim back the women's world champion, right? And we have Tiffany Stratton also, right? Become champion. So
It's Tiffy time.
word. So who do you think are the next opponents for both champions?
Bailey and Becky.
Bailey and Becky.
So women's Rumble, I think Becky wins.
Okay.
And Becky's gonna go wrestle Ripley at Mania.
Okay.
I don't know when Bailey is gonna go after Tiffany, but I do think that if Bailey wins this tournament, which by the way, them doing the tournament.
Well, I think she's number one contender. I think she beat Naomi.
But I'm saying, like, how everything pans out now with the tournaments, like how going forward. Like she's good. Like going forward with the tournaments, this is a big win for WWE hosting these tournaments nonstop.
Oh, the IC and the US.
Yeah, it's been fantastic altogether. But if there's no one contender, so I don't know if she's gonna win it, next week or whenever she does compete for the championship, or if she wins by the Rumble. I just know that Bailey is going to take Tiffany's belt. If anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Bailey.
All right, so we'll start with Tiffany Stratton. I think, to be honest with you, the woman that's going to take away Tiffany Stratton's belt is none other than Charlotte Flair.
So okay, all right. So you're going down. You're putting your hand in the box. You're putting your hand in the box now. But hey, this is don't do it, Soto.
Yeah, I think so. I think Bailey's going to give Tiffany a nice little run for her money and whatnot. But I think Tiffany Stratton will prevail that. But I think when it's all said and done, a matchup between Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair it seems destined for WrestleMania, to be honest with you. When it comes to Raw, I think this is again fairly obvious. We've seen it teased so many times. Rhea Ripley and maybe a heel Becky Lynch. I think that's the route you go. Now, having said that, I hope that most likely means, right, based on my predictions, that either Becky Lynch or Charlotte will win the women's Royal Rumble. Which I don't want to see, but hey, that's the route I'm going with because I feel like that's the route WWE is going with. Stratton versus Charlotte Flair, they both make sense. Two of the most athletic women in the division or in the roster. And then you had Becky versus Rhea, which is like again long term storyline. That's the route they're definitely going with.
Okay.
On some outside of WWE AEW news, for those who are fans of the King of Bros, Matt Riddle wins the MLW World Heavyweight title. So he continues, to make a name for himself in the indie scene. Obviously, he's been competing in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Also wrestled for TNA. Also wrestled for AAA. So the Bro World Tour is
Is he
been
coming? Is he? Will he be back in WWE?
that's a tough one to predict. I feel like again that's more of a character thing. If that's a tough one. I can see it happening. Where they bring him back, but it's all about how his conduct and all that. So
Because the
um,
drug is a big thing. So just like does he clean up his ways,
yeah, that's where I'm going with.
or
So
do the
if he clean,
indies do the indies not care?
yeah, come on, the Indies they want a big name, and they
Oh well,
um And then on some TNA news, Nick Nemeth, formerly known as Dolph Ziggler, signs an extension with TNA. I'm not sure how long the extension is. I think his contract was supposed to be up early 2025, right?
makes
But
sense. Why they're ripping now.
Right. So all we know is that he has re-signed with TNA, and as of right now, there's no word on how long his extension is. So
Oh well, I'm glad he's getting his you know he's getting his flowers now
yeah,
because he was one of the better wrestlers on WWE. It just gimmick and booking kind of did him in after a while, but he's had a great time as Nick Nemeth on in TNA, so I hope he continues to do so because
yeah,
he's been a great a big bright spot down there.
yeah. He's found a home. So
So
oh,
hopefully
he's
it
found a
continues to work
home
out.
where he feels appreciated. So.
Yeah. So hopefully it works the way it's supposed to.
And our last topic on this week's episode is this Jordan Grace's final TNA
One hundred
showdown?
percent, she's out the door. She's going back to NXT and having and stacking up that roster again.
So
Again,
again,
just like
again,
conversation before, she's made some poor decisions. She's apologized for it, and now nobody cares. Go on about your business, and she's kind of got a better reaction out of things now as time progressed, and now
yeah.
she's better himself.
So for those who haven't tuned into TNA, so it seems like Jordan Grace is having this final feud, right, with Tessa Blanchard, who again is officially back in TNA. Which again has caused a lot of chatter in the wrestling community because again of reports of allegations of unprofessional conduct, right? Um, so the fact that she's with TNA, it caught a lot of wrestlers off guard, and it has been shocking in its own way. But again, yeah, it seems like this might be her last feud in TNA, as her contract is coming up relatively soon, and
And then she'll be on NXT about a month after that.
yeah, it seems like all points, all directions. It leans like she's WWE NXT bound. I feel like this is her last feud to again help. Not that she needs it, but put Tessa Blanchard over. And again, probably exit.
Statement. Tessa
Yeah,
Blanchard getting a statement win over Jordan Grace would be great for her.
yeah. Okay, but and again, obviously Tessa Blanchard's return to TNA is already causing a stir, especially with the wrestling community and even other wrestlers like Chelsea Green, right? And I'm not going to comment on that because they these wrestlers and fans, they have their own they have their own reasons, to feel a certain way about Tessa Blanchard. But in regards to Jordan Grace, I'm really excited for Jordan Grace if she does leave for TNA. I think again we've seen her, sporadic appearances in NXT, and again she fits like a glove. She's a perfect fit in NXT, and even when she gets called up to the main roster, if she signs with WWE, she's going to be a major player. So really excited, for her future, and yeah, we'll see how that goes.
So before we get off this, before we close, as I'm scrolling through Twitter, updating, refreshing, sharing everything. Um, According to WrestleVotes on Twitter, WWE has just announced that for the first time since 2011, the 25 Rumble for both men and women will feature 40 wrestlers.
Oh my god.
So I don't know how valid this is because he did parentheses via WWE. But are you? Someone said should be 50. um, do you believe? For one, do you think this is true? And two, were you a fan of the 40-man Rumble when they did it?
Uh
In
that,
past years.
I think all right. I think a lot of people would like to see a greater number, like 40 or 50, whatever. Let's put 40, because it's like, oh, you have more possibilities of surprise entrance. I think when you think about the Royal Rumble, I think a lot of people are looking forward more towards surprise entrance. Like, oh, which legend, which debuting superstar might appear. I think in that case, like that's what most fans are looking for. Um, but I don't know. I think the last time, what was it? I think it was
The 2012.
the Saudi Arabia one was like 50, and then I think before that was the Royal
The
Rumble.
actual, not the greatest one, but the actual, like a legitimate PLE, like the big four, bro, the one that
Oh,
actually matters.
okay. Oh, okay. So yeah, the last time it was that big, it was Del Rio when he won.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah,
was
when
12,
40, and um, yeah, I don't know. I think you should just stick to
11.
just stick it to 30. I mean, again, if you're bringing it to 40, it's because again, you just want to like include surprise entrances or surprise debuts or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
But I like to just stick to with the traditional 30, to be honest with you.
30 works for 40 a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, yeah, 40 is a lot. And the Rumble itself, right? The Rumble with like 30 superstars, it's about roughly, I would say, like an hour, 15,
15.
hour 20. Yeah,
Yeah,
if you're adding 10 more superstars, that's just gonna add like
hour
another, like,
30,
yeah,
hour
20,
30
30 minutes
hours.
to it. Yeah.
When you do it for the women now, and that's three. It's almost 3.5 hours.
I think again, for entertainment purposes, it works. I think for like a for a wrestling fan who just wants to see the Royal Rumble, I think a traditional 30
Is
is great.
this isn't Triple H's first Rumble, right? It's the second one now, right?
I believe so. I believe so.
Okay. Because I don't know, if you went 40, I think the men you can get enough. For the women,
I think
you might have to go to NXT and get a bunch of girls in there.
so I think, yeah, I think, yeah, for the men you can easily have like 40. You can have like 35 if you're doing a 40. You can easily have like 35 main roster 35 main roster, maybe like 3 from NXT, and then maybe like 2 legends. And then when it comes to the women's, yeah, you're gonna have to reach into the bag for NXT on that
Because
one.
yeah, because in real reality, you have like
You can
10 or
no,
15.
and it works
Yeah, you
because
have
they
10 or
have.
15 from each side, right? From each division, each roster. That puts you at 30. You're probably gonna have 7 from NXT.
Yeah, 7 and like 3 legends.
Yeah, which would probably be who would be the usual if you brought in legends for the women?
It would be Trish, Lita, and maybe like Molly Holly or Victoria.
Shout out to Victoria. Shout out to Victoria. Yeah, I can see her. Um, Michelle McCool.
Yeah, Michelle McCool. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And here's
Oh,
the
Mickey
last time we
James.
were 40, right? Last time we went 40 when Del Rio won. Do you know who he defeated?
Who he threw out?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was Santino Marella. I remember, I remember like that, like
Look
it
how
was
far we
yesterday.
came. I'm just letting you know.
Like everybody legit thought for a split second that Santino Marella was going to win the Royal Rumble.
I thought he was gonna win it.
I thought so too. I mean,
and how to win for Del Rio? DV felony number 1. Let's get out of here. Let's close this. If I start slamming people again, I'll take off. I don't care. That'll do it for us today's episode of the Sunset Flip Wrestling Podcast. We appreciate you guys tuning in week and week out. Hopefully now with a new platform, with Streamlabs. It is a new venture for us. So hopefully this new plan we have going forward is a win-win. As always. I mean, the theme looks great. So to put it on himself. We had a readjustment for the logo in a great spot. It's got more of a static dynamic in the back now. You see it moves in the rear. So yeah, no, shout out to Streamlabs. Streamlabs was great for us. You guys want to create your own podcast like we do for this, just go to the breakdown of Streamlabs and it gives you a full breakdown right then and there. Email, startup, pricing, stuff like that. And it's nice and easy. It's very simple. Well, it took solo about 2 hours to get this thing lined up the way he wanted to, the way he wanted. So
word.
That's not bad.
Easy. It's not easy.
So, you want to get your own, you can do it like that. Easy 1, 2, 3. If you want to check us out, we are live currently on Twitter and Twitch. YouTube video will go up shortly. You want to catch
unfortunately,
TikTok may or may not be done.
We debated on whether to post this on TikTok. Obviously with the whole pending of TikTok getting banned in like what 7 days, whatever.
If TikTok makes it the 21st, we'll be back on TikTok.
Word.
If
TikTok is still alive on the 20th, then we'll be back there. But but you could also check us out on TikTok, see previous clips and stuff like that. We'll also like upload clips of this episode onto TikTok and everywhere else. So we're global.
We don't discriminate. Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, we're on Twitch, we're on Facebook. You name it, we're on it. If you guys want to start your own podcast, outside using audios and use video only, that we do as well. You can check us. You could check us out on Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Anywhere you get your podcast platforms on. NFL playoffs are going on right now, so we're all trying to make that money to go to California. Word. One. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully the forest fires haven't burned out Westwood Radio. Just going crazy right now. So our thoughts and prayers are out to them, out on those forest fires. That's just ballistic. It's crazy. Over there, there's nothing but dry heat and brush fire and forest fires and whatnot. Over here,
it's crazy.
18 degrees for the past 4 days.
Yeah, it's crazy you mentioned the fires because, like, scary situation. Anthony Bowens from AEW, he had to I think attend to his house or try to get things in stored, and then I don't know how true this is, but former WWE superstar Melina. A lot of people are worried for her well-being because they haven't heard from her.
And she's on Cal, right? She's up in the hills too.
Yeah. So, hopefully, she's doing okay. Because again, this is the last thing that anybody wants. So,
you be called with some shit you don't want to be called with. It's nasty out there. So,
our
thoughts and prayers are out there.
Yep.
Hopefully everybody gets their houses. They're safe. If not, they're out alive. Most importantly. So.
Yep.
But until then, hope we just thoughts and prayers do over here, and no, we got to take care of the fucking freezing cold that we have on our end. So, break, bro.
Yep.
22
Thank you.
degrees right now.
Yep. And thank you everyone who, who continues to support us and who continues to tune in. We really appreciate that.
Yeah. Appreciate everything wholeheartedly.
Yep.
So until then, see you next week, Soto.
See you.